morning, Dr. Fred, TMT, Tuesday Morning Transformation. This week's message, have you ever doubted? Now, there was a professor that did this demonstration in front of a class, 200 students, and he took a bill. Here's a $100 bill. Now, you know this value. If I gave you this, if I said, would you like this, what would you say? And then if I took this and I folded it like this, and I said, now it's folded, do you still want this? I'll give it to you, right? What would you say? Then if I said, well, here's this $100 bill, I'm gonna crumple it up. There you go, do you still want this? Right? Has this changed its value? Now guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it down here and I'm gonna step on it like this. Do you still want this? And what would your answer be? See, the thing is, you know the value of the $100 bill. Now, this is a metaphor for your life. Do you ever question or do you ever doubt your value? So we know this. This has a perceived value. But what happens in life? We go through this, right? We fold it up. We get stomped on the ground. We go through these life experiences, and then we identify with our experiences when this is who we are. So when things are great, hey man, life is wonderful, and we have a perceived value. We can perceive our value based on things outside us, based on cultural norms. Our value can come from, it's the house that we live in, it's the car we drive, it's our family, it's our kids' achievements, it's our bank account and our income. When those are things that we do, that's not who we are. And so we gain these experiences in life, and then we go through these experiences, yet experience become wisdom. Knowledge turns into wisdom through experience, right? So we know when we get older, we get gray hair. Well, why is that? Just because we're older, or because those people have been through a lot of stress, right? We know the person with gray hair has a lot of wisdom. Why? Because they've been through a whole life of experiences. So does it ever change our value of who we are? Now, when I was a kid, I remember my dad wanted me to play all three sports: basketball, baseball, football. I hated basketball. Was okay. I hated baseball. I loved football. See, I was a gross motor movement guy. Now, you're going to throw a little round ball and I got to hit it with this bat. No, I wasn't like a finesse guy. I was gross motor movement. So I had the worst batting average on the team. Hated baseball, maybe played for 3 years. Finally was like, okay, you're not good at baseball. However, if you said, run over there as fast as you can and hit that dude as hard as you can, I'm all about it. Right all over there, big motor movements. Right? So the problem is, and everybody grew and I didn't, so I know. I fooled you guys. I'm only 5'8" with my heel lift on. So then all of a sudden, I can't play football because I'm the guy getting crushed. So what do? Become a wrestler, because I was only 103 pounds, 103, didn't have to diet in wrestling my freshman year of high school, right? But I love that because we get to do physical things. So when it came time and I knew, you know what, I want to be a doctor, and I was looking at an MD. Number one, I don't really care for drugs and surgery. I was raised in a medicine cabinet by an RN mom. Didn't resonate with me, but I'm thinking, look at those guys on TV with the little microscope glasses and the scalpel. Like, they're going to be a lot of messed up. I'd be like, oops. That's not good. Why am I a chiropractor? Number one, because it's true health care. And number two, man, I can fix someone's posture. I can straighten their spine. Adjustments, much better on gross motor movements. So see, God created me a certain way. I knew my value. Medicine and surgery was not my thing. Chiropractic was my thing. Teaching was my thing. Okay, so when we know our value, then we find our sole purpose, and we're led into it because we're given these gifts, and it becomes natural. And so the problem is, in human nature, we want to judge ourselves by cultural norms, right? And so many times we learn as kids that we want to be liked, we want to be loved, and we want to be accepted. Why? Because as kids, we look for acceptance outside. We look for our parents. We look for it in our coaches. We look for it in our teachers. That said, I used to get when I was a little kid, the PTA things. Your son should be a straight A student, but he just doesn't care. You know what I mean? So every report card, I get in trouble. Not this again, because I was a kid in the back row flicking the little triangle football 3 rows to my friend, I don't know. I can't pay attention that long. Fit into this thing. That's why we're entrepreneurs, right? So we have to fit into these cultural norms because we want to be liked. We want to fit. We want to fit into this puzzle. And even when it's a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, and it's not who we are. You know what I mean? Some parents want to homeschool their kids because they have beliefs about public school. Other parents don't want to vaccinate because they've done their homework. My dad stresses out because I was raised Italian Catholic. I don't want to go to Catholic church. I'm not real good at rules, right? I remember being a kid, we used to go to confession every Saturday. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. My last confession was last week, and I'd say, disobeyed my mother and father. Really, is that all? But really, what did I do? Lit this field on fire. I stole some sweet tarts for the thing. Fortunately, they weren't all in the same week. But it's like, let me see what I can get away with, and let's see how sharp these rules are. So even as a little kid, I'm like, I don't buy these rules. And as I got older, I don't want to teach rules. I want to teach relationship. I tell my parents, I don't buy the rules of Catholicism, and Catholicism is great. But I have a relationship with God. You did a good job. Don't stress out, right? But I don't want to be accepted. I don't need to be accepted by my father or by anybody or by culture because we have our own soul path. When you give up the need of being liked and accepted, you gain the gift of being loved and respected. Your soul purpose may not have everybody like you. It may not have everybody accept you, right? It will give you experience where sometimes life is totally happy and sometimes it's totally stressful. However, path to fulfilling your soul purpose may not always be happy, but it will be fulfilling. It will be joyful. There will be experiences that give us wisdom. I got a lot of wisdom under this colored hair, man. You just can't tell how smart I am. I'm just covering up. I'm staying incognito and flying real stealthy. However, we know our value. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes it's like this. So let's live a life of being loved and respected rather than to cultural norms, to other people's expectations. Follow that soul purpose. Be your best. Know your value. Never compromise and set that standard. And you'll have a joyful, fulfilling life. Okay, gang, please like, please share, please comment. I love your comments. More and more people are commenting. We're getting more and more shares. People all around the world that need this message. I'm just coming to you with what I go through. And so hopefully that has benefit for you. Love you guys. See you next week.